Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show. This is the podcast where I talk about your personal, professional, and spiritual growth, and where we talk about your stories to help you go from stuck to growth. I am your host, Joshua Bridwell, and make sure that you comment, subscribe, like, share, download, go follow us on social media to stay plugged in. Just a couple of updates for you. I have 2 episodes left, this one and one more episode before I go on a week-long break. That break is not just time off. I'm going to be going and reviewing videos, making edits, trying to make this show even better for you going into season 2. It is coming up very quickly, so if you are watching any of my videos, and you notice any way that I can improve and further help you, go ahead and comment that below. I am going to be reading comments on all of my videos in order to produce the absolute best content for you that I can. And speaking of personal, professional, and spiritual growth, today I'm talking to you about something extremely foundational to your growth journey. I'm going to be talking to you about how you can set and achieve personal and professional goals. These methods, these ideas are going to work. If you do, it's going to be a commitment, but there's going to be so much reward in it. Whether or not you are somebody that has tried setting goals in the past and for whatever reason it didn't work for you, or if you are somebody that is brand new, never set a goal before in your life, or you have just started, or if you're somebody that has set goals many times. I am excited that you are here. There's going to be something for everybody. This is not just going to be my own experiences. I'm going to include science-backed information in here, and whether you are somebody that is data-driven like myself, or if you're somebody that's fueled by inspiration and creativity, there's going to be something here for you. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want to get started with a question. I want to know, why do we even need goals? Ask yourself that question. Why do we need goals? We're told that we need them. We're told that they can do great things for your life. But why do we need goals? Goals aren't just some motivational idea out here. They are something that are backed by science. If we look at Dr. Edwin Locke's goal setting theory, he says that goals should be something specific and that they should be challenging. We shouldn't cast a wide net hoping to capture just one specific result. We need to narrow it down, we need to make it specific, and we shouldn't make it something that is really easy. We need something that's going to push us beyond our comfort zone in order to help us grow. I want you to think of goals as a GPS. If you're somebody like me, I could get lost in a parking lot. I need a GPS to get from point A to point B. Without a GPS, for somebody like me, I am just driving and praying I end up in the spot that I'm supposed to be. But with a GPS, I have a turn-by-turn direction leading me to where I want to go. Goals are the same way. They are going to give your life a specific direction and give you step-by-step directions to help you get there. And so I want you to think about somebody trying to run a marathon. If you're like me, I'm not going to go try to run a marathon, but if you're a marathon runner, more power to you. If your goal is to run a marathon, you could set a goal to just run more. Well, okay, what does that mean? How much more? By when? You might jog occasionally if you feel like it, but it's more powerful for you to set a goal like run 5 miles 4 times a week. Now you're starting to develop a clear plan for your life, and you can break it down even farther. You can increase your weekly distance by 1 mile a week. And if you do that, you are on the track for just building slow, steady progress towards this big goal that at first can seem really out of reach. And studies show in the Psychological Bulletin that people who set specific goals, rather than wide ones, people who set specific goals are 90% more likely to accomplish those goals than people that just have vague intentions. When your mind knows the direction that it's going in, it's going to be much easier to focus and to avoid the distractions that are going to get in the way, because regardless of the goal that you set, there's going to be a distraction that gets in the way. And the absolute most common distraction that I hear more than anything else, more than, oh, well, I just don't have the time. A big reason people give up on their goals is because they see somebody with more. It doesn't matter how hard you work to gain weight, right? There's always going to be somebody that has the perfect physique in your opinion, or you could work your tail off, but there's always going to be somebody that appears to have more money, or your dream car, or that the dream apartment, or the dream family, whatever it is. There's going to be that distraction out there, and it's really important for you to not get distracted by that, because more likely than not, they have a very different set of circumstances than you have. You need to be proud of what it is that you accomplish, and the only person who you need to focus on through this entire goal and growth and habit journey that you have for yourself, the only person that you need to look at is the person in the mirror. And don't compare your lives or your journey to them. Compare your journey to where you were yesterday. My personal definition of success is to just be better than I was yesterday at something. Whether that is I read something new and gain a new piece of knowledge, whether I'm a better husband or a better friend, a better worker, whatever it is, my goal is to just be able to look at myself in the mirror the next day and say, hey, today I am better than I was yesterday. Maybe you are somebody that has tried to set goals in the past, and for whatever reason it didn't work. Maybe you got burned by it. It wasn't a good situation for you. You set something, you decided not to follow through. Whatever it is, you're not by yourself. There are people like that all the time. I've set a lot of goals in my life, and I haven't hit all of my goals. That would be crazy if I hit all of my goals. But I am better today because I've had these systems, this accountability in my life. I've used this stuff to help become a better version of myself. But if you have not followed through on a goal, or if you haven't reached a goal, congratulations. You're normal. You fit in along with a lot of other people. It is really important to recognize that you are not alone. People will blame themselves a lot of the time. They'll think that they are lazy for not accomplishing their goals. Sometimes that's the case, but sometimes it's not a matter of work ethic, but it's a matter of having the right systems in place to help you succeed. And so this episode, it's not going to be about being absolutely perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm growing every single day. And if you think that you are absolutely perfect, you have nowhere to grow, then you need to start with humility. So this episode, it's not about being perfect, but it is about making progress. And so I'm going to be giving you practical steps to help you get there, to help avoid these distractions, and to help you celebrate the small wins, because every single step, no matter how big, how small, counts and should be celebrated. And you can celebrate by yourself, but also there's a secret weapon that can also help you to celebrate. And I'm talking about accountability, because accountability is one of the most powerful tools that you have in order to succeed. Whether you are setting a goal, anything in life, accountability is extremely important. And accountability means that you are answerable for your actions. It's about creating a system where someone or something expects you to show up, to follow through, and to be honest about how you're doing. If you're not showing up, if you're not following through, if you're not being honest, then the only person that you are hurting is yourself. You have to be honest. And accountability can look like one of three things. The first is you can hold yourself accountable, and you can do so by journaling. I do encourage people to, have a journal, keep track of your progress. It could also look like using an app. If you're trying to focus on health and nutrition, you could have a calorie tracker app, and after every meal you go in and you update that. At the end of the day, you can see, okay, did I do what I was supposed to do? However, some people are not good at holding themselves accountable, and so you could look to a peer for accountability. Peer accountability means that you can reach out to a friend or a family member to have these conversations. You can team up with them, and this friend or family member should support you, but they should also challenge you. You should share your wins as well as your setbacks with this person, and they should love you enough to communicate with care. Please hear me say with care. Nobody deserves to be verbally abused, mentally abused in any type of way. Your accountability partner should care about you, love you, and respect you. And not only should they love you enough to tell you the hard things and to challenge you, but they should also celebrate with you. They should make you feel good after you tell them something that you're proud of. It is really important to have that give and take. You should feel good sharing your wins with them. You should also feel motivated, encouraged, and empowered when experiencing and sharing setbacks with them. And if you have somebody in your life that is where you want to be, then that's really great. Some people don't have that luxury, and so the third level of accountability is you might have to hire a mentor or a coach. You might need to hire a personal trainer, or if you're trying to make it to the NFL or the NBA, if you are trying to make it to the big leagues, you might need to hire a coach that has taken people to the big leagues, that knows what it takes to get there. If you're struggling with finances, you might need a financial coach. If you are wanting to become the CEO of a company, you might have to write a check to get the attention of a CEO in order to pick their brain and figure out what it takes to get there. In some cases, hiring a mentor or a coach that can invest in you is going to be a really, really powerful thing. Not everybody needs to do that, but some people want to take that extra step. And also, where we spend our money shows what's important to us. And so we are more likely to follow through on something if we have money invested in it. If we look at something that was found by Dr. Robert Cialdini, he found that public commitment significantly increases follow through. That's because when we announce a goal that we have, or if we say that we are going to do something, it creates societal pressure that we feel obligated to follow through on. For example, okay, I'm going to take out the trash. If you don't take out the trash, then you feel bad about it. But there's that pressure of, oh, I need to do that. I need to take care of that. When you tell other people your goals, it does create that societal pressure, and it does motivate you to stick with it. So I want to encourage you to think about somebody in your circle. It can be a family member, it could be a friend, somebody that cares enough about you and loves you enough to hold you accountable, and have them be your accountability partner. It can be uncomfortable because now you have somebody that is pushing you, and you don't have the ability to be lazy anymore. You have to be held accountable if you are wanting to grow. You should be able to share your wins, your setbacks. You should know that at the end of the day, they're rooting for you to win. They are not betting on you to fall. This person you could check in with once a week, like I do with my friend, or you could just text them, hey, ask me on Wednesday how this goal is going. I go over every single goal that I have with my friend, and he goes over every single goal that he has. This can be very overwhelming for somebody that is just now getting into goal setting or habit tracking, or even if you're somebody that's been burned by it before or you didn't follow through on it. I want you to start small. I don't want you to go through every single goal you have every single week. I want you to pick your core 3 to 5 that you really need to focus on and lean in to those in healthy, constructive conversation. And I also don't want you to go out and create a million goals, because then your brain gets overwhelmed by it. You are letting one fall by the wayside because you're spending too much time focusing on this one. You're juggling too many bowling balls. You need to be able to, if somebody asks you what your goals are, you should be able to tell them all of them. If you can't tell them all of them, then you have too many. But that doesn't mean that you have to focus on all of them at every single moment of every single day. Find somebody who is going to encourage you and hold you accountable. And alongside accountability, because accountability is extremely important, but also important is self-discipline and sacrifice. In order to reach your goals, it does require self-discipline. It does require sacrifice. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but there's one thing that separates people that reach their goals and people who don't. And at the end of the day, that is self-discipline. Motivation is something that comes and goes. For me, I have no desire to run a marathon. So if I start running a marathon, I'd probably get maybe a quarter of the way through before my motivation to get across that finish line was just gone. But what would push me to get through that is my relationship with self-discipline. Research shows that self-disciplined people are not people that are more talented, but they are people that are more consistent. In some areas of your life, self-discipline may be very easy. In other areas of your life, self-discipline may be very difficult, and in some cases may require professional help. But people with self-discipline are not more talented people. They are people that are more consistent. And there are legitimate, actionable ways that you can build self-discipline. The good news is it's a muscle that can be worked on, it can be developed, and the very first thing that you can do is just start small. Don't try to change everything all at once. Newsflash, if you do, It's not going to work. It's going to get overwhelming. You're going to get discouraged. You're going to get frustrated. Everything's going to go back to the way that it was. You have to build self-discipline and build self-confidence by taking small steps and mastering the small things first. The second thing that you can do to develop self-discipline is by committing publicly. Share with other people what your goals are, whether that's your accountability partner, whether that's your significant other, whether that's your parents. Share goals with somebody, because then that puts a little bit of pressure on you to follow through with that goal. And then you need to create routines. This is something that I'm focusing on very heavily in this season of my life. As you've probably noticed with my morning routine episode, if you haven't checked it out, highly encourage you to go over there and watch that. But creating routines makes things automatic within your life. And that could be waking up at the same time every day. That could be, okay, I brush my teeth, and now I'm going to put my clothes on. Noticing what it is that you do first thing in the morning or throughout the day. What do you do automatically? And one thing that I have noticed about myself during this is I have a lot of routines that I had no idea that I had. It's kind of fun to discover, if I'm honest with you. And then you need to delay gratification. When it comes to self-discipline, this is probably the most key piece. Since I've been alive, delayed gratification has become harder and harder and harder that I've noticed within people, because of things like Amazon, where we can order something and then it shows up on our door the next day. We don't have to wait a lot of time between when we think that we want something and when we're rewarded with it. And so delayed gratification means that we skip the immediate pleasure, like scrolling on social media, ordering things on Amazon, or online shopping in any other capacity. We skip the immediate pleasures for something that brings long-term success. So one of the most fun pieces that I've learned in psychology, my undergraduate degree, was the marshmallow test. If you're not familiar with the marshmallow test, I'll give you just a very quick run through of this. They did a study with a bunch of kids, and they took the kids one by one into a room with a chair, a table, and then they would sit the kid down at the chair. They would put a plate on the table with a marshmallow, and they would say to the kids, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to check on you in 15 minutes. If you don't eat the marshmallow, then I'm going to give you a second marshmallow when I come back and check on you. Well, what happened during this study is some kids ate the marshmallow and some kids didn't eat the marshmallow. And delayed gratification means that we are giving up what we want in this season because we know that greater reward is coming later. We have to be able to skip the immediate pressure for something that brings us long-term success. And achieving things in our life, achieving anything great, means that we have to make sacrifices. And people think that sacrifice means, okay, I have to give up this in my life. And yes, that's true. But you're giving up something in your life so that something can be added to your life over here. You might have to trade comfort for progress, whether that's skipping Netflix so that you can study, or saying no to a night out with your friends because you have a side hustle that you are trying to get off the ground. Because, as I know, this is really a time-consuming thing. The good news is, though, and write this down, sacrifice is not permanent, or it shouldn't be. sacrifice is not permanent. It is an investment in your future. Write that down. You have to see sacrifice not as something that holds you back, but as something that is going to fuel you towards success. Every time that you choose discipline over comfort, you're building momentum, and that's going to pay off for your life down the road. While everybody else is out partying in your home, working on your side hustle, you're going to reap the benefits of your decisions, and everyone is going to look at you and wish that they made those decisions as well. Again, you shouldn't do anything based on how other people are going to perceive you as far as goals go. You should try to become the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like and feels like. But the decisions that you make are going to shape how you view your life, how others are going to view your life. So it's important that we focus on the proper goals. And goals are awesome. They give your life direction, but there's also another piece that I have chosen to focus on more so over the last year, and I'm talking about habits. I believe that habits will take you farther in life than goals ever will. Goals will have an end date, and habits can perpetually go throughout your entire life. But goals are going to give your habits direction. So I do believe that both are very important. So here in Texas, a few years ago, we had rolling blackouts, and we called it the snowpocalypse. I got a lot of reading done during that time. And one book that I remember reading specifically was Atomic Habits by James Clear. In that book, he said something that I will never forget. He said, "You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." And then he went on to say that our habits run in a three-step cycle, a three-step system. It is a cue, a routine, and a reward. When it comes to the cue, that is the thing that triggers the habit. So if you are chewing your fingernails, okay, I'm feeling stressed out because of school, because of work, because of home life. You experience stress, okay? Trigger. That then cues the routine, which is the action itself. And your routine, the action itself, should be specific, and it should also be something that's repeatable. So you experience stress, so then the routine itself is you chew your fingernails, and that leads to the reward, which is what you get from the habit. And so you could feel like you are accomplishing something, or you are treating yourself in some kind of way. So let's say that you want to run more. Let's go back to the original example. You want to run 5 miles 4 times a week. Okay, you leave your shoes by the door. Okay, that triggers you to then go for a run. When you come back, your reward should be something that is enjoyable, but it should not be going against the goal that you have. So you shouldn't come back and then try to eat the largest piece of chocolate cake that you can find, because that is opposite of your goal. But if you had been waiting all day to drink your favorite protein drink or smoothie, then great. That can be your reward for your action, as long as it's in line with the goal that you have set out for yourself. So the system that James Clear points out is there's a cue, there's a routine, and there's a reward. When it comes to building habits, because great, now there's a cue, a routine, and a reward, but how do you build habits? There are very basic strategies that I have used to create these systems in my life. And the first one is to just start small. Don't try to change everything all at once. Once again, you will not succeed trying to change your whole life. In fact, it's probably going to pull you in the exact opposite direction. I know because I've done it, I've been there. That's also what research shows. If you want to exercise, you have to start small. You are not just going to go from 0 to 100 really, really quick. You need to recognize that small steps are still steps in the right direction. Don't compare your step 1 to somebody else's step 10. Focus on your own journey. And then something that I have discovered works for me is I like to think about my habits as building blocks and do what's called habit stacking. So I will recognize that I brush my teeth. Okay, great. There's a habit. I brush my teeth. And then, right after I brush my teeth, I'm going to floss. Okay, wonderful. So I have developed that habit. And then after that, then I will put on my pajamas. And then I'll set my alarm. And then I will get in bed. I'll turn off the TV. Just stacking those habits one by one by one has made a difference in my life. I don't want you to stack all of your habits all at once. This is something that I am working on right now, is linking my habits together, finding out where they all fit in. But once you have mastered the brushing your teeth, then floss. Okay, and then you're gonna put on your pajamas. Okay, once you've mastered that, once that is an automatic action, then you can add something else on top, and then something else on top. This works for morning routines, this works for afternoon routines, evening routines, night routines. When you stack your habits, you are linking a habit to something that you already do. A trigger is something that, in this case, is something that you already automatically do. And then you need to track your habits. This could be with a paid app, or if you're somebody like me, once again, I love to just take pen to paper. It works for me. I think that writing things down physically helps me to remember them more. It makes me feel more invested in that process. You have to then, once you've tracked it, you have to celebrate your wins. Again, this should be in alignment with the goal that you've set for yourself. Make sure that you celebrate your wins, no matter how big, how small. Motivation is something that comes and it goes. I know on my fitness journey, there have been times where I've plateaued. And so rather than celebrating a physical milestone, I've celebrated just showing up and being consistent. Even if that means that I can't go work out, but I get in my car, I drive to the gym, park in a parking lot, or in the parking lot, back out, and come right back home, because I've still built the habit of showing up. Whatever a win looks like for you, again, whether that's a milestone or whether that's just consistency, celebrate your wins. You should feel good throughout this process. Is it going to be challenging at times? It's going to be difficult, but it should never make you feel like less of a person. You shouldn't feel like you hate every moment of your life. And the only way that you're going to get there is if you don't celebrate your wins, or if you try to set something that is just way over the top, not achievable. You have to make it fun. You have to reward yourself for consistency. Small wins over time really add up. I want you to choose just one habit, just one, that supports the biggest goal that you have in your life right now. And I want you to link it to something that you already do. And I want you to commit to doing that for just 1 week. You're going to be genuinely surprised by how powerful tiny things like that add up over time. If you're also looking for a specific strategy, a specific method, a framework. In order to develop goals, I want to very quickly go over the SMART method of goal setting with you. This is something that I didn't used to think worked for me. I've tried it before, it didn't work. Recently, I got back into it and I have started seeing results now that I have more self discipline than I had before, and now that I have a much higher level of accountability from my accountability partner, as well as the community pressure that I've experienced. If you've tried the SMART method before and it didn't work for you, I do highly encourage you to give it another try, because the SMART method is a goal setting framework that's designed to help individuals like you, like me, and teams even to create clear, actionable, and achievable goals. So, SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time based. We've talked about how casting a wide net is not going to get you a specific result. And so we need to make our goals specific. To be specific means that you have to very clearly assume that you are writing your goal to somebody that has no idea what's going on. You have to clearly define what it is that you want to achieve. You have to be precise about your goal. Make it as crystal clear as possible. This might be difficult for you because you've never thought about your goal on that level. And in trying to make it specific is going to be pretty personal. It might be a little bit difficult, but it is going to be really important for you to get to that level. So instead of saying something like, I want to be fit, say, I want to run 3 miles 4 times a week. They have to be measurable. If you're running, 3 miles 4 times a week, that is something that is measurable. Make sure that you can track your progress and have specific indicators along the way. So if you're wanting to save $5,000, you can easily backtrack that and find out how much you need to save each month in order to get to $5,000 in 6 months. It also needs to be achievable. Hear me out. It has to be achievable. You have to set a goal that is realistic based on your current circumstances. You can't set a goal based on what you see on social media. You shouldn't do that. It's not healthy. It's going to be discouraging. You have to use your current resources, your current skills, current capabilities, and whatever time frame you see as being needed for you. It should still be a challenge, but it should be within reach. You have to also make sure that your goals are relevant towards what it is that you want in life. If you are trying to be in the shape of your life, having a goal of eating or winning the hot dog contest probably isn't a good goal for you during this season. You have to make sure that your goal is in line with what it is that you want in life on the broad scope. Whether that's personally, professionally, spiritually, it has to align with what it is that you want in life. It should be personal to you, or it should have professional implications, whether that's a raise, whether that is a promotion in a couple of months. It has to be personal, it has to be professional, it has to mean something to you. So, for example, if professional growth is something really important to you, setting a goal to get a new certification, or if a promotion requires a college degree, going back to school, make sure that if you are focused on professional growth and you're working to get a certification or a college degree, make sure that it is going to be beneficial for you before just jumping in because little Johnny down the road said that, oh, well, I got this, so it opened this door for me and it opened this door for me. Make sure that it would open doors for you before you go and waste time and energy, but that's a different soapbox. Just make sure that your goals are specific, measurable, achievable. Make sure that they're relevant for you, and then make sure that they are time bound. They need to have a specific start day. They need to have a specific end day, because that's going to create some pressure. It's going to create accountability. It's going to create urgency. It's going to create motivation. It is really important to set a clear deadline for your goal. It's also going to help you develop habits. It's also going to help you make it measurable. It's what's going to determine if it's achievable. For example, if you said, okay, I want to save $1,000 by tomorrow versus $1,000 in 2 months, okay, the level of achievability there is very, very different. So, for example, making it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, making it time-based. I will launch my personal blog by June 30th, 2025. The deadline encourages and requires action. It should push you. It should be uncomfortable. It should be challenging, but that's how growth happens. This SMART method works because it transforms all of these vague ideas into specific ideas that are time-based, that you can accomplish with your resources. Makes it easier to track your progress, and please hear me say that it is okay to adjust your strategy as you go. You shouldn't change the goal, but you should change the steps to get there. It is going to be a conversation that happens with your accountability partner all the time. Hey, okay, maybe I try this week because I think it's going to make significant difference in the long run. Your goals are there to guide your life. Habits are going to help you accomplish your goals. Feel free to try different habits as long as they're healthy and in line with the goals that you have for your life. I would love to know if you've tried the SMART method before and it didn't work for you. If you will comment down below why or what you've tried with it that didn't work. If there's a specific piece of the SMART method that has resonated with you, that you have experienced, that I didn't talk about in this episode, if you will comment down below, please help to share the insight, the growth, and speaking of which, something that I am playing around with is the development of an accountability community. If you think that being a part of an accountability community for the Joshua Bridwell Show is something that would be beneficial to you, go ahead and just comment yes down below, and I will make sure that if that gets created, then you will be one of the first people to know, get inside access to that group, because I do want to help you go from stuck to growth. I am super excited for many of the things that are coming up, and not too long, we are going to have season 2. So including this episode, there's going to be one more episode, and then there's going to be a week-long break. That's not going to be time off. That's going to be me watching these episodes, going through the comments, hearing from all of you what you have to say. That way, whenever we come back with season 2, it is a better show, better insights, better information for you to help you go from stuck to growth. And I'm working on a website full of different resources for you, a place where everything is together for you. And I'm also going to link that book, Atomic Habits, down below in the show description. So make sure that you click on that link, help yourself by getting yourself a copy of that book. It is a game changer for anybody looking to set goals and focus on habits. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show. Tune in next time. Let's grow.